Hey, you. Yeah, you. I know what you're doing. It's kind of fucking weird, actually. Jesus Christ. Anyway, do you like liking things on Facebook? Or, wait, what? What do you mean it's so 2013? Maybe we should just get rid of our MySpace page. Also, do you like following things, whether it be legal or otherwise? Well, good. Why don't you like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter? Because if you don't, you're just kind of an asshole. Anyway, enjoy the show, I think. Alright, so yeah, watching next week, Chris. Are you down?
Maybe. We'll see.
Okay, well, I hope you are. I mean, it's going to be a big episode. We've got, 6 films to go through. Alright, thank you so much, guys, for watching, and Stefan and I for sure will be back next week, and possibly even Chris. Bye!
Bye.
Oh, God. Well, I think this was a really good episode, Penwell. I mean, Penwell? You were right in front. Penwell? Where'd you go?
Chris?
Oh.
Chris, who are you talking to?
Penwell. I mean, I just recorded an episode with... How long have you been here?
I've been here for 4 hours. You just started talking about Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory for, way too long, I should add. Way too fucking long. And it sounded like you were talking to Penwell, and did you forget? Did you forget what happened?
Is this why we took the week off?
Chris, he's gone. You gotta accept that. No, I'm not gonna comfort you. What the fuck is wrong with you? Oh, buy your fucking crocodile.
Good evening, sex fiends, and welcome to another episode of... Are you okay?
No, I'm not okay.
Do you want to calm down?
No. Debate me, coward. I will never calm down.
Okay, Ben Shapiro. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Sequel Decay, where we struggle to get through our nostalgia one suicidal thought at a time. I'm Chris Ranta, and with me is Stefan Salahio.
Please let me out of here.
We can't until we get through the giant stack of movies, man.
I've been here for 20 hours.
I know. Fuck, we've been here for fucking 3 weeks. Just been trapped here
when
in this basement.
When I said I wanted a week off, I kind of thought I would get to go home.
Yeah, I kind of thought so too. And then we were told we had to stay here and sit through the stack.
Yeah.
Said, oh, you guys taking a week off? Well, I guess you're going to sit through 6 movies this week. It's like, fuck.
And we rewatched them 80 times. The movies only last 30 minutes each.
Pretty much, yeah.
They're folks, art was a mistake.
This week, we're talking about Pokemon.
Too much of it, some would say.
Way too much Pokemon for anyone's liking. I just found a Pokemon card.
Oh,
Machop.
Machop.
Awesome.
I like Machop.
Wicked.
What's your favorite Pokemon? Chris, I was trying to inject a little earnestness in this podcast. A little.
Like Ernest goes to jail or Ernest goes to camp?
Chris, I was trying to be a little genuine, a little fucking... But then you had to come in with jaded, worldly cynicism. Fucking hate you, Chris.
So this week we're talking about Pokemon.
Biggest franchise in the world for a while, probably.
Yeah, probably, actually. I mean, There was one movie coming out every year from 1999 to 2003.
If I remember...
At least, and then I think it kept going from there. Like there's at least 5 in a row that went to theaters once a year, every year, and then it was basically straight to video from there.
Yeah, for a while in the late 90s, it seemed like Pikachu was bigger than Mickey Mouse.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I was a literal infant at the time, so it's not like I have first-hand recollection of it, but it was huge, and that carried on until mid-2000s, I think, is kind of when it cratered.
I want to say,
cratered, but
yeah, about 2005, 2006, it's when it started to at least just kind of fall.
Never went away.
Not really.
No, it still had its audience. The anime was doing well enough to keep going forever.
Yeah, I don't think the anime ever stopped.
Same with the trading card game. Same with the video games.
Yeah, the video games have still been around, every fucking year or so, or however long. Do the games come out every year now?
No, it's
every couple?
because I know Sun and Moon came out when I went into university, and Sword and Shield are going to come out later this year.
Oh, okay.
So it's more like 4 years or so.
Okay, so they're doing it like they do every President's.
Ha-cha-cha!
It's a Pokemon game for every presidency. In fact, this one's going to be shit because of who's in the office. Am I right, fellas? How am I doing it forcing out these jokes?
I should have killed you 5 times over by now.
Anyway, why don't you tell us which movies we're going to be covering this week in terms of Pokemon?
Well, before I do that, I'm just going to do a brief introduction for all the audience members who don't know anything about Pokemon.
All 4 of you.
In which case, congratulations on being born literally a week ago.
Then why don't you tell our infant, week-year-old audience what Pokemon is?
Pokemon is a mega franchise based out of Japan and managed by the Pokemon Company, which is kind of like an unholy triple alliance of Nintendo, Game Freak, and Creatures Inc. It began as a video game series centered around catching and battling these fantastical monsters known as Pokemon. It started out with the video games Pokemon Red and Green. It ballooned into a franchise that got so big that terrorized parents for well over a decade. My mom is still not recovered. And while it has just persisted since then and spawned not only too many video games and spin-off video games, but an anime that has also gone on for probably way too long.
Yes.
A film series, which
has gone on for way too long.
Probably gone on for way too long. And a trading card game.
Which has probably gone on for way too long.
I mean, it's longevity, it's pretty much sustained me up till age 10. The success of the anime spawned several movies, which began with Mewtwo Strikes Back, and has persisted, with the latest one being 2018's The Power of Us.
Yeah, and this year they're actually doing a remake of Mewtwo Strikes Back.
A CGI remake of Mewtwo Strikes Back. Why? God knows.
Who gives a shit? Why not?
Because I don't know, it's definitely a franchise that is nakedly about making more money.
Oh, yeah.
To prop up all its other like tentacles.
I think that's why our parents hated us.
I don't think they hated it because of some like inherent sense of anti-capitalism. I think they hated it because kids are fucking obnoxious. And I know my parents could only handle so much of me rewatching every anime VHS that I got like 80 times over in the 3 days that I had it before we had to return it to Roger's Video. Remember Roger's Video? No, you don't. Don't lie to me. But yeah, in light of a recent film that came out that we'll get into in a bit.
They know which movie we're talking about.
It's Detective Pikachu. It's
based on the acclaimed trading card game, Detective Pikachu.
He's holding up the collectible trading card from the movie.
That we got when we saw it.
You got
proof that we saw the movie,
I got Pikachu in which one?
I got Pikachu and Lickitung.
I got Pikachu and Charmander. But anyway, in light of the release of Detective Pikachu, we decided to watch not all of the Pokemon movies.
Jesus Christ, no.
Because
fucking 20
fucking
of them?
Lord, we ostensibly have lives.
I thought we just lived here.
Fuck off with that. Well, I mean, you gotta include time to masturbate, but like...
Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah.
And I mean, that takes up 90% of the day.
Yeah. So we just decided to do the first 5, which are the ones that I watched most as a kid anyway.
They were also the only ones that basically went to theaters for longer than a week.
I know, because the first 3 were the ones released by Warner Brothers.
Yeah, they were the 3 released by Warner Brothers. And the last 2 that we're going to talk about, which are Pokemon Forever and Heroes, were released by Miramax.
Yeah. So, the 5 movies that we ended up watching, for all you folks clamoring at our Letterboxd page and keeping track. Pokemon, the first movie, or alternatively known as Mewtwo Strikes Back. Pokemon 2000. Pokemon 3, or some
Spell of
shit.
the Unknown.
Spell of the Unknown. Yeah, whatever. These movies have like 8 titles each. Pokemon Forever, or The Voice of the Forest, is Celebi or some shit. And Pokemon Heroes.
Or as the box calls it, Pokemon Heroes the movie. That went to theaters, guys. This went to fucking theaters. No, we decided we're going to talk about the theatrically released ones because that makes the most sense.
Yeah.
Like, if we started going into the straight-to-video stuff, we'd be here all fucking day.
Yeah, to tell you the truth, I mean, I had, like, a nice little trip down memory lane watching these movies. Like, I might slowly work my way through the others, but in terms of a sequel Decay episode, I'm happy that we're just going to go through these 5. And they're, like, 15 seconds long each. So
yeah, they're like an hour
each.
Like, I think the shortest one is an hour and 11 minutes that we watched.
Yeah, and
that excludes the Pokemon shorts at the beginning of them.
Yeah, and they're all basically the same movie, so it's not going to take us. It's not going to take us too long to go through it.
Yeah, no, they literally have the same fucking formula. Like, they all focus on a certain legendary Pokemon, and the intro of each movie will be about that legendary Pokemon. The opening credits sequence will just be a gigantic title spiel of ejaculate and shit, and fucking God knows whatever other kind of CGI.
Yeah.
Before we cut into Ash going into an arrogant Pokemon battle, because he's kind of an asshole in all these movies, while some shitty music plays in the background as they battle.
How dare you?
It's bad.
How dare you?
And then Team Rocket shows up for like 15 seconds to like be weird and meta. We'll talk about
strange.
that. We'll talk about
It's
that.
very strange.
It's fucking bizarre why they're in any of these movies. But Team Rocket shows up for a little bit to provide some sort of comic relief. There's always a little bit of interaction between Ash, Misty, and Brock. Brock's not in the second one though. It's he was replaced by Tracy.
Tracy Sketch, yeah.
Who I forgot was an actual character in the movies.
Totally forgot. Because he's interchangeable with
pretty
with
much
Brock, essentially.
Pretty much, and he just stands there in Pokemon 2000, but here nor there. And then the plot kind of kicks in about half an hour into this hour-long movie.
Are we talking about the first movie?
I'm talking about all of them.
Oh, yeah.
Like, pretty much, the plot kicks in.
Except 3, which we'll talk about.
Except for 3, because 3 kind of kicks it into high gear right away.
Yeah.
And then they do something, the movie gets kind of sad, and then it ends on a shitty number, where everything is resolved. That's pretty much all 5 of them that we watched. They're all the exact same fucking movie.
Yeah.
Except change out whichever legendary Pokemon for another one. Mm-hmm. It's the same fucking movie.
Yeah, they all... And it's usually... Except for 1 and 3, it's usually Ash has to save this legendary Pokemon from usually like a hunter or a collector.
Yeah.
Or a thief. And yeah, it's... If that sounds formulaic to you,
I guess
it's because everything about this is...
Well, I guess you can say that Pokemon 3 is Ash tries to save this Pokemon from a grieving child who can't let go of her parents.
Yeah.
So I guess it fits in that mold there, kind of.
Kind of, but I think it has a little more going for it.
Oh my god, yeah.
I like 3 way more than any of the other movies.
3 is the only one that I'd actually possibly sort of recommend.
Yeah.
As far as an actual cinematic experience goes.
Well, spoiler alert, the others are mostly trash.
No, the rest of them are like terrible.
Yeah.
Fucking pathetic. Might recommend 2000.
2000
2000 is terrible, but fuck you, Team Rocket is the best in that movie.
Yeah, they have the best lines, but it's such a
Why the fuck is there a Weight Watchers joke in that movie?
I don't...
There's the fucking opposite sex banter.
Yeah.
Meowth being the master of human sexuality in the Pokemon universe, apparently.
4Kids was up to some wild shit, y'all.
Why do you guys need the opposite sex when you have each other? Like, what?
What are you talking about?
What the fuck does that mean? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
They are both the opposite sex. These movies were written by children.
Yeah, they are written specifically for
kids. Are you okay?
Yes. They're written for children, like small children. But tailoring it to that audience, they make it so fucking dumb.
Oh yeah, no, it's like...
Which is to say that, the games are known for their deep, thought-provoking stories.
No, they're not. Nothing Pokemon related is really known for its deep, thought-provoking storytelling. Nothing about it is.
No,
but you would think that Warner Brothers and 4Kids and Miramax and anyone else who was involved in these fucking movies would have sat there and went, okay, these are going to theaters. Parents are going to be paying $15 out of pocket. Maybe let's give them something other than an extended episode of the show. And they don't.
No. They're all extended. Well, except for 3. And I'm going to keep saying that because 3 is...
I'm not going to go high up on the praise train with 3, but I'll at least
3
say
is the best movie ever made. But...
Move the fuck over, Citizen Kane. Here comes Entei.
If Orson Welles was alive today, he would kill himself for being so shitty compared to Entei.
If Orson Welles was alive today, he'd probably play Entei. Are you shitting me?
Probably.
Yeah,
Entei had a sexy voice.
Oh yeah.
To be fair, the first movie, we both watched the English dub. We watched the English dub for all these movies, I think.
Are the Japanese dubs legally available?
Probably. Probably for the first 3.
And by legally, I don't mean it's illegal to watch Japanese dubs of anything. But I mean as far as being able to purchase them goes. Mm-hmm. I have the recent Blu-ray release for the first 3 Pokemon movies in the nice steelbook that I bought for $20 fucking for this show, by the way. And it only includes the English dubs.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And it was released by Viz, so I don't know if Viz has a history with that. I know nothing about anime distributors, so if anyone can fill me in on this. But yeah, I don't know if we can find the Japanese versions without resorting to torrent sites.
Yeah, I couldn't find even like a English version of Forever or Heroes without going onto sites that were trying to sell me Ukrainian mail order brides.
Nice.
Anyway, to be fair to the first movie, apparently the Japanese version, which neither of us saw, has a lot more going for it.
Yeah, I've heard it's a lot deeper. I've heard that Mewtwo's character arc is a lot more interesting than what it is in this one, because this is more like Pokemon Age of Ultron.
Because, like, the first, 10 minutes or so are just Mewtwo's backstory. I don't know what you think, but I think I thought that was the most compelling part of the movie.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it's, super deep or anything, but it's way more compelling than anything that comes after.
Oh my god, I mean, I could say that for all of them, though. Is that they're all, the first 10 minutes of each of these films is, actually kind of sort of onto something, and you kind of get suckered in, oh, maybe this one will actually be good, and then it just fucking sucks.
Except in 3. Yeah, I think you're onto something with that, with the exception of the fourth one, which is kind of boring. And the second one, I think, because it's just the villain giving his narration for 5 seconds, then it kind of gets right into it.
Basically, yeah.
They all kind of set up the world, and they don't do a lot of world building, which is fair enough because Pokemon is presumably going in. Well, it's just this little quadrant of the world of Pokemon that needs some minor explaining and sometimes a lot of explaining, and then they just kind of throw Ash and his Polycule into it.
I was also gonna say that Pokemon Heroes would, I guess, be another exception where the intro was interesting.
Because, that was really cool.
No, the beginning of fucking Heroes, when it's oh right, here's the world of Pokemon again. Yeah. Even though we had a movie that came out last year. Yeah. It's just what? It's an entire... it's basically a recap of the pilot.
Oh, right, yeah, that's what you're talking about. I was thinking about, that, silent bit where it's just, the...
No, I mean, right before, when it's, a blatant recap of the pilot episode and a little bit of the rest of everything. And you're just kind of kids are still into Pokemon. The last movie came out last year, or, the year prior, and... I don't fucking know. I don't fucking know. It was just the stupidest thing to have in that movie. But we gotta pad out that runtime, right?
Let's just go through each movie real quick and just give our general thoughts on them, and then we can, narrow it down to, talk about general themes.
So,
Pokemon, the first movie, or Mewtwo Strikes Back, or whatever. Bad movie. Released in 1998, right at the fucking peak.
Basically,
at the peak.
They were smart.
And, oh boy, was it huge. They released that promotional Mew card, and... like we said, the Japanese version that was apparently, had a little more going for it in terms of existential themes, but the English version just did not have...
Well, I think it was, trying, but again, it felt like Pokemon Age of Ultron.
It starts with that, and then it forgets about that completely until, the very end, where it's oh, by the way, fighting is bad.
Yeah.
And anyway, here's 5 minutes of Pokemon bare knuckle brawling. And anyway, what do you mean you feel uncomfortable?
What do you mean this movie's actually terrible and we're idiots for asking our parents to go see it?
What do you mean you don't want to see Vaporeon biting another Vaporeon's throat?
The more I think about the first movie, because I was pissed when I watched it. I sat down and watched these fucking things yesterday and this morning because I just did not care. I don't know. The more I think about it, the more I think it might fall into that so bad it's good category.
I think it's endearingly goofy at parts. It's not good.
No, it's not good at all.
I don't think it makes up for a lot of it. Parts of it just fucking drag. Ash running up that stupid fucking spiral staircase for 80 hours.
Oh my god. Wait, wasn't that in Pokemon 3
No,
as well?
That's the first one. Well, I mean, they did that, but that was a little more visually interesting.
Yeah, it was a little more visually interesting.
It's clearly done with the TV show's budget, too.
Oh, yeah, it's...
I think the best animation in the movies was actually the third one.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, actually. 3 is, gorgeous, and they do a lot of creative stuff with it. Yeah, no, as far as the first one goes, I'm more in the so bad it's good camp, kind of, I think. I don't know. I literally wouldn't recommend it to anybody that knows nothing or cares less about Pokemon.
I would only recommend it to people who saw it before and get a nostalgia high from it.
Basically, yeah, it's I think a lot of people that have that nostalgia high for it are probably going to still really like it.
Yeah.
Because...
and that's fine.
That's fair. I mean, if...
I know the Pokemon anime, for me, which is generally not good, at least not until recently, it still feels like a warm blanket to me when I come back to it. It's very welcoming to me. and I love watching it, even if it's, by any standard, it's pretty much trash.
Mm-hmm. Alright, Pokemon 2000.
Pokemon 2000, which subs out Mewtwo for Lugia, and the 3 legendary birds, Moltres, Zapdos, and Articuno, is boring as fuck.
Except for Team Rocket. Team Rocket is as funny as they'll ever be in these fucking movies in Pokemon 2000.
But otherwise, it's mostly just Ash and Misty and what's-his-face?
Tracy.
What's-his-fuck? Running between these 3 islands in...
No, it's just Ash and Misty. And some other character they just found. And Tracy's literally just staying back at the island like, hey, I was pretty bored through a fair chunk of it, and then Team Rocket would show up and I would be entertained.
Team Rocket's the only entertaining part of it.
Team Rocket's the best part of the movie. Like, I think we're going to talk about the Team Rocket stuff. Later,
we will.
Later, but Pokemon 3, I think we kind of said enough about it already. Like, the animation's pretty, the story's actually kind of engaging.
The story is engaging. I like that it's dark and weird at parts.
Yeah.
Unknown is very interesting as a villain because, like, they don't really have a clear motivation. You don't really understand why they're there. They're not exposition fuckheads. I really enjoyed it. It was definitely a surprise for me, and it was the only good movie ever made. Anyway, all these movies also have like under 20% on Rotten Tomatoes, by the way.
Yeah, in and around that. Oh, actually, Pokemon 3 has 21 or 22.
Yeah.
So it's in and around that 20%, like 10 to 20 on Rotten Tomatoes. Like, they're all pretty much critically despised.
Yeah.
And the only one I'm a little like, oh, come on about is 3.
Yeah, like 3 is legitimately good, I think.
3 is the one I would at least say is okay.
3 is good. It has an emotional core to it, which is something the other movies don't have at all.
Exactly.
And yeah, it kind of undoes it at the end, and that's too bad, but like it has that thing that you can get attached to. Like
yeah, like, and like Team Rocket's appearance in that one just feels forced, albeit I laughed my ass off at like 1 or 2 lines, like when Meowth calls the unknown alphabet soup. Or like when James said, I haven't seen this many letters since that time I took out a personal ad. It's like, the fuck?
What are you talking about?
What does this movie mean? So, like, obviously, Team Rocket had no reason to be in that movie. They didn't have any reason to be in any of them. I could see why they were in 2000, because they actually kind of were able to bring them into the plot.
They have a pretty big part in the plot in Forever as well.
Yes, and they do have a decent part in the plot in Forever, from what I remember of it. But in, like, 3, 1, and 5, there's no reason why they should be in the movie.
No, they're completely irrelevant. Moving on to Pokemon Forever. Now it's the Grass Fairy Pokemon Celebi. It is completely forgettable. It's visually, it's one of the better looking ones.
Oh my god, yeah, absolutely.
It's right at the time where they're starting to blend CGI in with 2D, and I mean it's very noticeable, but that's just kind of a thing you have to deal with at the time.
Yeah, it's one of those unfortunate things. But
yeah, but it's got some cool moments, like Ash and friends hanging out with Celebi in the forest is really kind of relaxing and calm. And I wish that was the movie.
Yeah.
But, you know, when they actually try to move the plot along with this Team Rocket villain who reminds me too much of Deadshot, it's really just kind of starts feeling bad. It's just boring. All the action scenes are just... I'm just waiting for fucking Celebi and Pikachu to eat berries. That was the real thrilling part, but you won't hear me say this often, but there's just too much plot. The main plot in Pokemon Forever, which mainly deals around time travel, is just not that compelling. They do tie in the fact that the boy who meets Celebi when he's young and travels to the future, that's Professor Oak.
Yeah.
It's whatever. I'm not gonna get too hung up on Pokemon world building.
No, like it's stupid. And now finally Pokemon Heroes.
Pokemon Heroes is the same movie as Pokemon 4. It's
yes.
except it's set in Venice. There's no time travel though. They go there and Latios and Latias are like the guardians of that city, and then 2 Team Rocket spies try to steal them for Giovanni. It's boring.
Yeah.
And I like Latios and Latias, but that's about it.
Yeah, it's really boring. Like, I watched that one a little over an hour ago.
Yeah, I watched it this morning, and then I watched a little bit again when I got here.
And it was fucking boring. Wait, you mean you left this basement?
I mean, it was a hallucination, so I didn't technically leave, but...
Yeah. No, I thought it was fucking boring as shit, but...
Yeah.
Whatever.
You think Ash ever gets fucking tired of just meeting legendaries?
Oh, probably, yeah.
Like Misty's like, oh, fucking look at that, Ash. It's the strongest Pokemon ever since the last one until the next one. And Ash's like, oh, Misty, that's great. Can I just, like...
Why is he 45?
Can I just see a ferret? I just want to see a ferret.
Can I just go retire
Can I just have
in a cottage somewhere on the countryside?
Movie centered around, like, I don't know, Bidoof. The best Pokemon?
Yes. So overall, the best parts about these movies are when they get really schlocky.
Yeah.
Is that safe for me to say about how you feel about them too?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Like I just think that they're really...
Especially, I mean, the caveat is when they're schlocky, I mean, like, 1 and 2 and 4 and 5, because 3, I think, is, like, generally engaging.
3 is generally engaging enough. I think that it gets really undercut a lot because of Team Rocket acting as comic relief when it just feels really inappropriate, or, you know, the beginning of Pokemon 3 when we see Ash, Misty, and Brock for the first time.
She fights that trainer for way too fucking long.
And that fight goes on for, again, like, this is all literally just to pad out the runtime, but if all of this was trimmed out of the movie completely, it would have been so much better. Mm. I think Pokemon 3 would work best as, like, a 1-hour season finale for the show.
I think that's generally how these movies work.
Well, I think they are supposed to be season finales, but I think, like, if this aired on television as, like, here's a 2-part season finale of Pokemon, I think it would have worked so much better on TV like that than it would have, like, padding it out to, like, 1 hour and 15 minutes just so it could play in a theater. Like, there's no reason why.
Yeah.
Half that shit should be in the movie.
But it's got schlocky bits, but it kind of pales in comparison in that regard to the others, I think.
Yeah, because the other ones are just really bad. And
the only enjoyment I get out of those movies is the Pokemon themselves.
And the schlock.
And most of the schlock is delivered by Team Rocket.
Yes, who are the best parts of these movies.
The greatest fictional characters in any medium.
Yeah. Like, they are probably the only ones that kept me from turning off Pokemon 2000. They're probably the only ones that kind of... No, I mean, Pokemon... The first movie is hilarious. They're probably the only ones that didn't keep me from turning off or that kept me from not turning off Pokemon Heroes. It's like, fuck.
They're also, like, the greatest victims of the localization, but that's what makes them great.
Like, and I love how, I think it was in Pokemon 3. Why are you guys helping us? Well, if you guys are gone, then we're out of show business. Like, I like how meta they are. I don't know why. It feels lazy and stupid, and it just feels like one of those things where it's like, there's no reason why they should be this meta. There's no reason why they should be making Weight Watchers jokes. Because there's no reasons why Meowth should be the master of, like, gender stuff and sexuality.
But I'm glad he is.
Here he is to tell us.
I do, in fact, hail Gender Lord Meowth. I want Meowth to step on me.
Sit on your face. Guess your weight.
Stop. I'm almost there.
God, like, it's just so... Yeah, like, Team Rocket's the best part of these movies. Everything else is just... Like, the first movie is so self-fucking serious.
Yeah, it takes itself really seriously, which, especially at the end, is fucking hilarious.
Oh my god, yeah, like... Fucking Pikachu, like, crying, like, Ash, wake up. And it's just like, this whole movie is shit. I don't care about any of these fucking characters. I don't care about any of their arcs. I don't care about the story. I don't care about anything. I've just spent the last 20 minutes watching Pokemon beat the shit out of each other.
That was really fucking disturbing.
That was insane.
Like, because I have a really tough time with animals getting hurt in general.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, this is, like... It was fucking, like, these animals, like, literally just bare-knuckle brawling. All these, like, cute little animals, like, ripping out each other's throats. I mean, not that graphic, but, like, then after that, it's like the 10-year-old gets revived from tears. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with this movie?
Tears and the power of friendship.
Tears and the power of friendship. Isn't that what brings us all together in the end, folks?
The real Pokemon, the first movie, are the friends we made along the way.
I feel that, Chris. I really do.
So, yeah, like, it's really hard to talk about, like, 2 and 5 and 4 for me, because they're the same movie. They're the same movie, and they're boring.
Yeah, Ash has to protect a legendary Pokemon from a collector or thief who usually is affiliated with Team Rocket, and I think 4 and 5 do it a little better than 2, because 2 is just supremely boring.
2 is supremely boring, but it's coherent.
It's more definitely more coherent than the first one. They're all more coherent than the first one.
Like, I love how, like, they gradually improve. Like, the first three do, at least, where it's, like, this gradual improvement every movie.
Yeah. Well, no, I get way less enjoyment out of 2 than I get out of the first one.
Okay, whereas I don't enjoy 2 that much, but I will watch it again for the Team Rocket stuff.
Well, yeah, I don't know that I need to watch 2000 ever again, even with the Team Rocket stuff. I think the only movies that, like, I would, like, recommend, like, outside of the basis of just pure nostalgia is 3.
Yeah, that, like, there's none of these. For me, I wouldn't recommend any of these.
I'd recommend 3.
Like, besides anyone looking for a nostalgia trip again, I would not recommend any of these to anybody. They're...
Not even a middle of the road for 3?
Okay, 3's a middle of the road. 3 is one where, like, if you really kind of just want to watch one of them, just to say you watched one of them, I guess this would be the one.
All the others, like, I would only suggest them if you've already got a nostalgic attachment.
Pretty much, yeah. Like, if you were to watch these again, it would probably be you out of fucking sheer curiosity going, I haven't watched these movies in 20 years, let's see how it goes.
Yeah, exactly.
And I wouldn't go out and buy them.
I certainly would not recommend them to somebody who's not already a fan of Pokemon.
Oh my god. I mean, imagine... Okay, that's actually one thing I want to bring up before we finally wrap this up, because I don't see us being able to talk about any more of this. You know, considering, you know, how much the movies in the beginning try to be like, okay, parents, because I know you got dragged to this, we're going to try to wean you into Pokemon a little bit. These movies aren't accessible to anyone outside of the fan base, like, at all.
No.
When I was a kid, I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, I wasn't that into Pokemon. My brother was. My brother
was super into Pokemon.
My brother was so into Pokemon. He got all the games. I tried them, but, you know, I never found the games that interesting. I never found the show that interesting. I thought the movies were fucking shit. So watching these now, it's like I think the only one of the Pokemon movies I actually kind of liked was 3 when I was a kid, and I guess that kind of resonates now.
Weirdly enough, 3 was the only one that I didn't watch as a kid. I was not so much into the games. I didn't play a Pokemon game until Colosseum and then Sun and Moon after that. But I was way into both the anime and the trading card game.
Oh, yeah.
And occasionally I would watch the movies. And even when I was a kid, I kind of thought the movies were the weakest link out of any of those 3. Just because they felt kind of boring.
I watched... Oh, yeah, the movies were weak. I saw up to one of the straight-to-video ones. It was the Lucario one.
I saw the Lucario one. I think it was my last one that I saw.
That was the last one I saw, too. That was...
I remember being extremely bored.
I remembered it being boring. I remember the Deoxys one being boring. The Jirachi one was boring. So, I think that's when I finally just said, okay, I'm done with Pokemon. I'm 10 years old now. I'm going to go do something else.
I'm 10 years old. I'm going to graduate to bigger, more mature things, like the movie 300.
Or Borat.
Anyway, I like how in the first movie there's the shift from that, like, tragic Mewtwo backstory to today, Ash, Brock, and Misty are making fucking mushroom broth or whatever. Anyway, time for Ash to beat up a bystander. Brother. My brother. Do you remember that song?
Yeah, I remember that song. It's terrible.
The music in these movies is fucking awful. Oh shit, do you remember there was a Krabs joke?
Oh yeah, fuck, right! What the fuck was fucking thinking? Okay, so I guess overall, the first 5 Pokemon movies, if you were to give them an overall thumbs up or thumbs down as a whole.
As a whole, they would get a thumbs down.
Yeah, it would be a thumbs down.
If you would go individually, I would say thumbs down for everyone except 3, which I would give a thumbs up to. With the caveat that you need to be into Pokemon already.
Or if you're gonna give one of these a go with your kids.
Exactly.
Or a fan, or... Like, if someone's trying to introduce you into the world of Pokemon, then Pokemon 3 is probably the best one to go with if you just want a rough idea of what this show is.
Yeah, out of these 5, anyway.
Out of these 5.
Maybe there's a better movie, like, down the line, then we're gonna talk about a better movie right away.
Oh, yeah, we are.
It's like that for the early seasons of the anime. Like, this is the most quality gateway in. Because, and we forgot to mention this, but also it looks great.
No, I think we did mention that. It looks great.
It looks... I mean, because Pokemon 1 is kind of a victim... Doesn't look awful, but it's kind of a victim of the fact that it's got a TV show's budget. Pokemon 2000 I thought looked terrible.
Yeah, Pokemon 2000 looked really bad.
And then Pokemon 4 and Pokemon 5 kind of suffer. They look good, but they suffer from the fact that they're like trying to introduce a lot of 3D. Like if you watch Pokemon Heroes, like there's a lot of way too long scenes of them going through these CGI streets, and it just looks supremely dated now.
Yeah.
But Pokemon 3, it kind of hits that sweet spot. It's like it's right when like 2D animation was like, I don't want to say perfected, but like
it was
at its
peak.
It was at its peak, and it looks gorgeous.
Yeah, I like watching these on Blu-ray in stunning HD. Yeah, Pokemon 2000 looks terrible. Pokemon 1, I agree with you. Like, it does feel like it's on the TV show's budget. And Pokemon 3 looks fantastic.
Yeah, and especially because it's got, like, this weird environment of this, like, surreal, like, crystal castle.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm surprised how much I enjoyed Pokemon 3, really.
Considering, like, how bad 1 and 2 were, I was really surprised that, like, I'm at least middle of the road on Pokemon 3.
Yeah.
So yeah, thumbs down for everything but Pokemon 3, and Pokemon 3 is middle of the road because I still have a lot of issues with it.
Yeah. So yeah, we're not going to go fucking nostalgia critic on it and shit on it, but like,
no,
we're not going to go nostalgia critic on anything, thank God.
Okay, so I think we're done talking about the Pokemon movies, at least the first 5.
Yeah,
I don't care enough to go into the other ones. They don't matter to me.
I might watch them, go through them eventually, but it will not be in a binging.
No, like, I literally have no fucking reason to go back, so I'm done.
Yeah.
In that case, let's talk about the one that came out this weekend, Detective Pikachu. Stefan.
Oh, it's so good.
Stefan, why don't you tell us all about Detective Pikachu?
Yeah, I will, because it's great. Pokemon Detective Pikachu is directed by Rob Letterman, and it was released in 2019, and it takes place in Rhyme City, which is in one of the games. I think it's in black and white, but I'm not sure. It's stars Justice Smith as Tim, whose mother has died and his father has disappeared in a mysterious, shady incident. And one day he runs into a Pikachu in a detective hat, who was his dad's, like, detective partner. Oh my god, you have the game. Oh, I forgot to mention, this is a spin-off of the Detective Pikachu game, which is itself a spin-off of the Pokemon video game series.
Which I believe also... I haven't played the game. I bought it so that one day I will play it. Because I like the game that much. Or not the game, I like the movie that much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I believe the game also takes place in Rhyme City, and I believe that the kid's name in the game is also Tim.
I think so too.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Here nor there.
The Pikachu that Tim meets is voiced by Ryan Reynolds. And also, hey, it fucking talks. That's weird.
Yeah, it fucking talks, and it's voiced by Ryan Reynolds from Van Wilder.
His most famous role.
Yes, absolutely. Actually, his most famous role was
Waiting.
2 guys and a girl in a pizza place.
The Change-Up? Was he in that?
Yeah, he was in that. There's
Green
something
Lantern?
else. Yeah, Green Lantern. Oh, shit. X-Men Origins Wolverine.
X-Men Origins Wolverine.
There was something else he was in. Oh, Adventureland. Right, his most famous role.
That's right.
Where he played some carny.
Yeah.
And there was one other...
Was
Can't
that
remember
one, like,
what it was.
indie superhero movie?
I think so.
What was it? Super?
No, it wasn't Super. That was Rainn Wilson was in that.
I get it mixed up all the time.
Toxic Avenger.
Toxic Avenger.
Yeah, his most
classic.
His most famous role was Toxic Avenger, where he played
a stirring drama
Colossus.
portraying the darkness of the online dark web. Yeah, Ryan Reynolds voices the Pikachu, who can fucking talk, and the two of them need to team up to find Tim's dad.
Pretty much, yeah. Like, it's basically a standard noir premise. There's twists and turns along the way.
It's pretty generic.
It's pretty silly, but it's really fun.
It's so much fun.
I had a great time.
It's, like, okay, so I've always kind of hated the idea of a live-action Pokemon movie.
Yeah,
like,
I think everyone would.
Because in my mind it was going to be something that was, like, based on the main story of the games. Which, I mean, in terms of story for...
There's no plot.
There is a plot, it's just incredibly basic.
Yeah.
I've always kind of hated the idea of a live-action Pokemon movie, just because, especially based off one of the main story games, which, has a plot, and it would probably be fun for kids, but I was never convinced that the Pokemon would look like anything other than shit.
Because you're always worried that it's gonna be, like, they're gonna overdo the CGI, or they're gonna get people who genuinely don't care about this property that are gonna fuck it up.
Yeah, and I think the most important thing was nailing that the Pokemon feel like a part of the world.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is. In the anime, like, Pokemon have like fucking jobs. It's weird.
And they kind of feel like they're part of that world.
Exactly.
And in this movie, they fucking nailed it.
It's everything I've wanted. Well, I mean, until recently I hated it, but like as a kid, I wanted.
Yeah, like if you were a kid who wanted a live action Pokemon movie, this is pretty much what you want. This is perfect. Overall, yeah, we both like Detective Pikachu.
I do. I like that it just kind of throws you into the world.
Yeah.
It doesn't need a lot of explanation of, oh, by the way, these Mickey Mouse looking motherfuckers, they're just everywhere. And
these are Pokemon.
These are the Pokemon.
Pokerman.
You just gotta deal with that, buddy. But no, it's like, oh, yeah, here's Tim and his friend, and they're hunting a little animal that wears the skull of its dead mother.
Yeah.
And yeah, there you go.
Jesus.
I love Cubone. I want to protect Cubone.
Anyway, so I'm going to talk about the movie and not your weird fucking fetishes.
I didn't say I wanted to fuck Cubone. I just said I wanted to protect Cubone.
The internet, remember, he wants to fuck Cubone.
Oh, shit.
So hard. He's got a Cuboner for Cubone.
Did we talk about how in Pokemon Heroes, Ash fucks Latias? Anyway.
This movie was directed by Rob Letterman. Did you know he also directed the Goosebumps movie with Jack Black?
Is that any good?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's really entertaining.
Much like Detective Pikachu?
Yeah, like it was like Detective Pikachu. It's not perfect. There's things about it I wish were better, especially certain side characters. But I think overall it is much better than it has any right to be.
Yeah. And
it's pleasant, and it makes me happy. Also, the top billed actor in both films is basically carrying it, which is even fucking better. So, yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about Detective Pikachu and Goosebumps. Like, they're both really pleasant surprises of, like, this is really nice. And that's about it.
Yeah, I like that this movie kind of throws you in. You don't really need a prior understanding of Pokemon.
Not really, no. Like,
it always helps, but, like, I'm probably gonna take my mom to see it next week, and she only knows as much as I've shown her.
I honestly think...
And she's gonna love it, probably.
Oh, yeah, no, I think, like, honestly, like, we were talking about how much, like, you know, how much parents really probably hated a lot of this shit because of us. And it's like, if any parent went and saw this movie, like Detective Pikachu, they'd probably like it. A lot. Like, because it's perfectly accessible for anybody. It's like...
And Ryan Reynolds is funny.
And Ryan Reynolds is very funny, including when he played the Toxic Avenger.
Yeah. His most well-known role. After Detective Emolga. But anyway.
Let's talk about Ryan Reynolds then.
Yeah, he's
really funny in this movie.
Yeah, as a fucking weird casting choice. Wild. Not Danny DeVito, but...
No, like, it's not Danny DeVito, and I'm sure anyone would have preferred Danny DeVito if they wanted more of, like, that gruff...
And this raw sex appeal.
That too. But I think Ryan Reynolds is perfectly fine to play Pikachu.
He's great in the movie.
Well, it's because he's really good at ad-libbing, and he's really good at just taking over the movie and basically making it all on him.
Yeah, and his voice coming out of this, like, fucking adorable little shit, it wasn't as jarring as I thought it would be. I was kind of worried it would be kind of jarring going in.
No, but he's like, great in the movie.
Oh, it just feels so natural.
Like, he's so funny, his jokes feel really natural. It definitely does feel like he's definitely playing it for a wider audience. I mean, with, like, the climate change joke.
Like, there's a climate change joke, folks.
There is, in fact, a climate change joke in the movie. But, yeah, no, Ryan's just so funny in it. There's got so many memorable lines. When he needs to kind of take a step back and be a little more serious in the movie, he is.
Yeah, it's not... Another minor worry I considered was that it might be a little too cynical for its own good.
Yeah.
Like, just because Ryan Reynolds is... That's his thing.
Yeah, because Ryan Reynolds does get really, like...
That's more of a Deadpool thing, but, like, it's...
You mean Toxic Avenger.
Toxic Avenger, sorry. What the fuck is a Deadpool?
I don't know what a Deadpool is. Isn't that, like, some kind of, like, pornography thing?
I was worried it would be a little cynical, because, like, I was worried, like, it would do the Disney thing where it, like... is self-referential in a negative way.
Yeah.
But Ryan Reynolds and the movie in general kind of like have like this earnest, like convey like an earnest appreciation for Pokemon.
Yeah, no, there's never a point where it felt like anyone involved hates this property. Everyone feels like they're super on board to make a really fun, earnest, heartwarming kids film.
Yeah, and it's a kids film that like has like an emotional core as well. Like we were talking about the first movies, like the only one that really had a core was the third, and the others kind of felt like product placement.
Yeah, or when they tried to have a core, they fucked it up so badly. So like, yeah.
Yeah, and obviously this movie was made to sell Pokemon shit, but it doesn't. If you didn't know anything about Pokemon as a franchise going in, and you went into this movie, you would think, oh well, this movie isn't trying to sell me something. This is just a nice story about somebody who lost their dad.
Yeah.
And it's great. Like, I mean, obviously the story itself, I mean, it's very formulaic and predictable, and it doesn't quite stick the landing, I would say.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man, it's fun.
I actually thought the twist at the end was pretty...
Spoilers, by the way.
Oh, yeah, there's going to be... Yeah, from here on until... I'll make a timestamp, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I guess from here until whenever the timestamp ends is going to be spoilers.
Oh, yeah.
So let's talk about the twist.
Ryan Reynolds as somebody's dad is weird. Like, Pikachu is...
Pikachu, fine, but someone's father?
I mean, I know he has 2 daughters in real life, but especially like a father to like 20-year-old Justice Smith. that's a little tough for me to buy.
It's a little tough for me to buy, but at the same time...
I mean, it's not a big deal.
The ghost of Chris Penwell told me that, he really liked it as well, and I think it was the person that the ghost of Chris Penwell went and saw it with. It reminded him of the Lego movie and how it kind of reveals itself at the end of being like, oh, it's just all in the kid's imagination because he's just playing with his Legos and stuff. Like, Pikachu was really Ryan Reynolds, and Ryan Reynolds is really his dad. Like, it just felt really tender and sweet.
Ghost of Chris Penwell had a pretty good take.
Yeah, Ghost of Chris Penwell and the person he went with had a really good take. Is it just me or do you see a ghost in the room?
Chris, I don't see a fucking ghost. What is wrong with you?
Holy shit! Oh my, dude, do you hear him?
There is definitely not a ghost.
Look!
What the fuck are...
Look!
It's a fucking Inside Out plushie. You're pointing at an Inside Out plushie.
Look at the big man standing there with his arms crossed.
You're pointing at Lewis Black.
I am not pointing at Lewis Black. I am pointing at the ghost of Chris Penwell.
I do not acknowledge this ghost.
I'd like to join in the conversation.
I mean, as long as someone can believe in ghosts.
I'm just gonna fucking play on my phone for a while. You do what you want, buddy.
Something I would like to add is that Justice Smith, I think, is really good in this film. He does a really solid performance. I like when he's emotional, he really kind of delivers it, and so it kind of has that emotional punch that the film needs, and he brings that.
Can you do the whole spooky ooh thing?
Ooh, ghastly.
And then just scatter off into wherever you're going?
I see how it is. Okay.
Well, no, come back, baby, come back. Ghosty, come back.
Baby, come back.
You can blame it all on me. Is there anything else you want to add?
As to what you said earlier about Ryan Reynolds looking too young, I think they aged him quite a bit to actually make it seem,
Oh yeah, that
doable.
sweet 5 o'clock shadow in there.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, say anything, Stefan?
I don't know what to add, man. This is nuts.
I'll be Pika gone. Bye.
Oh, you didn't have anything else? I wasn't the only one that...
Chris, you just kind of went off for like 3 hours. It was quite... If I gave a shit about your well-being, I would say it's probably time to see a therapist. Like, what the fuck? This is wrong, man. I like that this is just a small story in a larger world.
Yeah.
Like, it like, the world is not at stake here. It very much feels like a corner of a larger Pokemon world that is going through its own thing.
It's very self-contained.
And when the inevitable other cinematic universe movies come out, like, they'll all take place in their other little corners, and it'll be their new stories, and it's really... I just think that's cool. Mm-hmm. It's good world building is what it is.
Yeah, no, I think they did a really solid job of building up the world and keeping the stakes low and not making it like, oh, it's the apocalypse, everyone's going to die if we don't find Tim's dad.
Now that would have been contrived.
In that voice too. I don't know. It was tender, it was sweet, warmed my heart. I had some issues with a couple of the side characters though.
Which side characters?
The love interest, I guess.
Catherine Newton?
Yeah, she literally is just like, I don't know. Like, at first I really just couldn't stand her because...
She grew on me.
She grew on me as well, kind of. Like, she grew on me in the sense of I didn't hate her by the end of the movie. But at first, like, her character, I mean. Like, her character is so poorly written. She did fine. Honestly, I kind of like... Because there's this... When you first meet her...
I kind of like the manic journalist angle.
I did not like the manic
journalist
just every time I see that in a movie, I just roll my eyes in the back of my skull.
It was not good the first time, but like as it went on, like it kind of like she played it down a little bit.
Yeah, as soon as as soon as the script started playing it down a little bit, it got better. But in the beginning, because there's no way you were gonna make that first scene with her like go any smoother than it did. But in the beginning, there's this scene where Tim goes back to his dad's place to collect some mail, and she comes running down the stairs, turns on her recorder and goes, "You're on the record, not now but yesterday," essentially, and then monologues about being a intern at CNN. And it was just the fucking worst. I hated every second of that. And yes, she does grow on you later on to where she's not like
I wonder if it's
utter shitbag.
I wonder if it's that she grew on me as much as I love her Psyduck.
Yeah, that too. Like, Psyduck was nice. Like, I think, and by grow on me, I don't mean like, oh, by the end of it, I really liked her as a character. I mean, I didn't fucking think she was a shitbird by the end of it.
Yeah. Speaking of shitbirds, Psyduck.
Psyduck is fantastic.
I love Psyduck. I texted Kyra after, like, Psyduck is just like a millennial in Duck.
Basically.
He like coerces Pikachu into rubbing his feet.
My anxiety, though. My anxiety.
Yeah. You want to die? This is how you die. The Pokemon look fucking great.
They look amazing. Like, visually, the whole movie looks stunning. It was shot on 35mm film.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
And it shows because the movie looks crisp and sharp and just gorgeous. Like, all those colors really pop out. The vision, like the CGI, like we were just gonna go into, looks fucking incredible.
Yeah, like everything feels like it has a weight to it.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't feel like, oh, this is just a computer imagery pasted over a city.
Exactly.
Because the city itself looks incredible.
Oh, the city itself looks spectacular. Like, it looks very Blade Runner-esque.
It does, like kind of cyberpunky almost.
Yeah, like cyberpunky Blade Runner.
Cyberpunk, but without like any social message whatsoever. Besides, like, it's all right. The billionaire's son will be better. Not only do the Pokemon feel like they have like a place in the universe, they also feel like they have a weight in the universe. They feel like they're actually there. And like when the Pancham Pangoro is sitting on the bench and like the baby Panchams are running around it. Panda one. And
I know which ones you're talking.
Okay, cool. I'm just making sure. It's like, yeah, that's a fucking panda bear sitting on a park bench. It's great. And also not completely out of place.
Yeah, like, it somehow took what should have been a little more bizarre and made
fucking
it
surreal.
Completely normal. And I wish that the movie kind of leaned more into the bizarre, because it really doesn't. It feels very standard. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, I think it still is bizarre enough that I still had a fun time with it. Like,
it does justify its weirdness.
Like, the villain's plan is hilarious.
It's so fucking weird.
And we're back to the spoilers, guys.
It touches a little bit on Mewtwo Strikes Back.
A little bit, yeah. Like,
I mean, obviously they don't go into Mewtwo's backstory.
No, but
I think that would have been a bit much.
It kind of goes into Mewtwo Strikes Back a little bit, and then we get the big reveal.
Oh, yeah.
That Bill Nighy is also Mewtwo.
Kinda.
Has transferred his brain into Mewtwo.
Were you also weirded out when Mewtwo like used his lips to talk?
Yeah, it was
like, what the fuck? Because like in not only the anime and the movies, but in Smash Bros, when Mewtwo talks, it's telepathic.
Yeah, it's all
he's
telepathic.
Not actually talking.
But in this movie, it's like his lips are moving.
And it's this old British guy.
And it's Bill Nighy, who, God bless him, is great in this movie, by the way.
He's great. He's fine. I mean, his plot is like probably the weakest part of the movie for me.
I mean, who gives a shit? It felt like everything around him and like his plan and everything and the big red herring of like, oh, it's actually the sun. No, it's really him. Like, that all feels very noir-esque to me, so I like that.
Yeah.
And it was really fun kind of watching that. Like, obviously, I saw it coming a fucking mile away.
Oh, absolutely.
You watch enough noir films and you go, I know exactly where this is going.
Yeah, exactly.
But, for what it was worth as like a noir film for kids, it was really fun.
Oh, yeah.
Can we talk about how Detective Pikachu is an alcoholic in this movie, except he drinks a lot of coffee?
That's just called a caffeine addict.
Okay, can we just talk about this for a minute?
Okay, go for it.
How Detective Pikachu is a fucking addict.
Which is a scary thought.
When we went and saw the movie, we each got a pair of Pokemon cards with characters from the movie. And on the Detective Pikachu card that everyone got, it says one of his strengths or attacks or whatever is Coffee Break, which heals 30 damage.
I think there's two different Detective Pikachu cards.
There is two different ones.
Because I think I forget if it was my brother or my best friend, but one of them got a different one.
Oh, okay.
I like that Mewtwo is again called the strongest Pokemon in the world in this.
Yeah.
Which is a little fucking strange,
It
especially considering
retcons
all the
everything else.
Yeah, especially because Bill Nye in his office has statues of Dialga, Palkia, and Arceus, who are literally the one. I forget which one. Dialga and Palkia are the gods of time and space, and Arceus is the god of the Pokemon universe.
Maybe it's the movie providing a metaphor that Bill Nighy's character has such an inflated fucking ego that he claims that Mewtwo's the strongest Pokemon.
Maybe
with the mind of Bill Nighy.
Maybe, and I'll explain it away by assuming that they're incredible world builders again. But like they're implying that the existence of things like Arceus and Dialga and Palkia are something that are kind of up for debate. Like,
yeah,
because they are like,
could be a religious thing too.
Yeah, because they're basically gods.
Yeah,
and maybe we'll see that more in the inevitable future movies.
Actually, I wouldn't mind them not doing a sequel to this.
They're gonna do a sequel.
I know they are, but it would be nice if they didn't.
They're gonna do it.
So, Stefan, would you recommend Pokemon Detective Pikachu?
Oh yeah, I don't think I'm not going to say the caveat of like, oh well, if you're a fan of Pokemon. No, I think anybody could probably watch this and get enjoyment out of it.
Yeah, no, like this is the only Pokemon movie I'd ever give a wholehearted thumbs up to, which tells you a lot about Pokemon. Also, my feelings on video game movies, but I really liked it. I thought
me like caressing a copy of Pokemon 3 and hissing at you.
Here you go.
The bad man can't hurt you now. Not you, a shithead. Fuck off. That's right. As you wish.
Yeah, my favorite scene was when
If
Entei was quoting the Princess Bride there. No, but I'd highly recommend it for anyone that just kind of wants to see something fun with their kids this weekend.
It's a very earnest...
It's earnest, it's sweet, it's kind, it's innocent.
It doesn't do a thing where it's like just either straight product placement, and it doesn't do the thing where it's like very cynical about its own existence while still cashing in on its existence.
No, it feels like everyone involved in this movie genuinely cares about this and wanted this to be really good.
Yeah. It's essentially product placement, but
yeah,
it's as good as one of those usually can ever hope to be.
It's as good a Pokemon movie as we're probably ever going to get. And for that, it's at least worthy of a recommendation. I would probably recommend it more as a solid something you go see at like an afternoon matinee.
I don't usually say this, but I kind of like being in the same theaters of all the like little kids who are probably just beginning to experience Pokemon. They were so into it, and it was such a nice vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
well, my theater was really quiet, but we also saw it at 4:50.
Yeah, I mean, most
like
kids,
we were the first show of the night.
We saw it at like 6:45.
Yeah,
so a lot of kids, and they were oohing and awing at everything, and awing a lot at the Pokemon and the fucking Bulbasaurs.
Yes,
those Bulbasaurs are so great,
so cute. All right, so
everyone's least favorite Kanto starter got like the most screen time, and he was great, proving the haters wrong.
We're both giving a thumbs up to Detective Pikachu.
Yep.
Let's talk about, because obviously we've kind of already touched on how we feel about the future of this franchise. They're probably going to keep going.
Oh yeah.
I don't really want them to, because this works on its own as a standalone thing.
Whether you want it to or not is completely besides the question. This is capitalism, baby. This is what's going to happen.
Great, but I hope that if they do, I hope they bring back Letterman. I hope they bring back anyone else on the creative team that genuinely cared about this, because I don't want this to be like Sonic.
Yeah. Fuck. He showed the trailer before the movie. It was so horrifying.
Like, that movie looks terrible, except I think Jim Carrey's gonna just like nail it out of the park.
Oh yeah, I mean,
he looks like he's gonna be the best part of that movie by far.
If you like 90s Jim Carrey, you're gonna get something out of that movie.
Oh fuck yeah!
If you're literally anybody else, you're not gonna get anything out of that movie.
Pretty much.
And those poor fucking animators too.
I feel really bad for them now. Yeah, the Sonic design is actively terrible, but that's not necessarily their fault.
It's probably not something they came up with. That was probably designed in a focus group.
That was probably designed by a focus group at the studio. Like, it reminds me of that episode of The Simpsons, the Itchy, Scratchy, and Poochie one, where they're talking about, like, oh, how do you want Poochie to look? Well, he's got to look cool, like he's got attitude and stuff. And that's basically, I think, the mentality they had going into Sonic.
Yeah, it looks awful. Yeah. But anyway.
So yeah, if they do keep going with this, I think that they should absolutely have a team that genuinely cares, like bring back the team from this one. and make another really solid Pokemon movie with people who genuinely care about this and want this to be really fun, I almost would not mind seeing a Detective Pikachu sequel, I guess.
I'm going to take a little bit of a different route. I don't really need to see another Detective Pikachu movie, but there is going to be more Pokemon stuff.
There is going to be more Pokemon stuff, for sure.
If they do that, I would like to see more self-contained stories.
Oh yeah, no, like, if Pokemon became an anthology thing from now on, where it just kind of went, like, here, there, and everywhere with the world, I'd also be very okay with that.
Yeah, I wouldn't even mind, like, if they did, like, one that was, like, kind of based on one of the mainline games plot, because, like, yeah, they're fucking generic, but, like, if you make it fun, like, I don't really care. Yeah, like, I'm not a huge fan of cinematic universes in the first place, but if you're gonna have them, I think this is as good a starting point as any.
Oh yeah, no, I think, honestly, yeah, if they did another Detective Pikachu movie, how could they? I would be okay with it depending on who's involved, because I'm sure they'd find another way to throw Ryan Reynolds into that Pikachu.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, but if they did it more like Pokemon became like an anthology film series, not necessarily a cinematic universe, but like an anthology series, like the way Tales from the Crypt is or Twilight Zone, then I think that would be really cool as well.
Yeah.
And those I'd be completely down for. Anything else, go fuck yourself. I do not want to see the fucking remake of Mewtwo Strikes Back. That sounds awful.
Jesus, that looks so fucking bad.
Like, it's probably going to be terrible.
Even the CGI didn't look great.
CGI looks okay. Like, I'm not worried about the CGI. I'm just worried that the movie's going to be terrible because it's remaking a terrible fucking film.
I wonder if they're going to do, like, a shot-by-shot remake, because it looked like a shot-by-shot remake.
Would not be shocked in the fucking slightest. Here nor there. So
yeah.
Now that's out of the way.
I think that Pokemon, like... It's already, I feel like, kind of been on an upswing since, probably since Pokemon Go.
Yeah,
even if Pokemon Go itself kind of died out, although it's still around. Like, I think the visibility of Pokemon itself is good, probably because, like, the anime is, like, supposed to be, like, legitimately good now. Although I wouldn't be able to confirm that. The Pokemon trading card game is still a thing. Detective Pikachu just came out. Like, I think we're gonna see, like, more of it from now on.
Oh, and Pokemon Let's Go for the Switch.
And Pokemon Let's Go for the Switch. And you know what? I'm here for it. I love this franchise.
Yeah, again, as long as it's as fun as this is, I'm gonna be okay with it. Again, I'm not a big Pokemon guy, so, like, the games don't matter to me as much.
I will shove Pokemon down your throat.
Oh, God, please don't. That sounds really illegal.
Yeah,
but
it's actually considered animal trafficking.
Cool. Now we need to talk about the big thing that everyone's probably going to be talking about it by the time the weekend's over. The fact that this movie is still, as far as I'm concerned, still fresh on Rotten Tomatoes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a fucking video game movie.
Yeah.
So, Stefan, tell me, how the fuck did that happen?
Well, I mean, it's a good movie, first of all, but it's at a 64% on Rotten Tomatoes right now. I think it's mostly just because some critics just kind of see it as product placement. And you have a lot of people saying now, well, it's the highest rated video game movie on Rotten Tomatoes.
I think so, yeah.
It's, like, I'm pretty sure by far, I think the other highest one would maybe be, like, 50%. So you have a lot of people saying, is this the best video game movie of all time? And I'm kind of cribbing this from Dan Olsen's recent Folding Ideas video. And I think the answer to that is kind of, yeah, but maybe, but not really. Because, yes, Pokemon is a video game franchise, and that's, like, the main thing it's been, but that's not the only thing it's been. It's a massive media conglomerate.
Yes.
It's not just the game. It's the card game. It's the anime. It's all the fucking plushies. It's Detective Pikachu. It's so much shit that it's not the same as if I were to make a Metroid movie.
Yeah.
It's not. It's nowhere near the same level as that. So
no.
I don't think that the existence of Detective Pikachu and the success of Detective Pikachu necessarily means that, oh cool, Star Fox is gonna work.
No, and that's not necessarily the case. I agree with you there, but I think it is going to give studios a moment of pause to go, this worked really well. Let's get a team in here that's going to make, say, an Uncharted movie or a Star Fox movie or whatever work. Let's make the best movie we can instead of what, studios have been doing since the fucking Mario Brothers movie came out, which is just make shit movie after shit movie after shit movie and not care because of brand names. Pokemon is greater than just the games, but I think it is going to give studios a lot to think about.
I think if you want a better example for specifically a game doing well as an adaptation, the closer example would be the Castlevania Netflix series.
Yes.
Which I still need to see the second season of, but I've heard good things.
I have not even watched it, but I've heard really good things about it.
I like what I've seen, which is just the first 2 episodes or so. I think that's kind of the better way to look at it, because I think generally TV shows are a better idea for games anyway, just because, to give an example, because I will take any fucking fucking excuse to talk about Danganronpa. Danganronpa is a mystery visual novel kind of game that I won't go super into it, but it has you solving murders and doing class trials and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The first game in the series takes you about 25 hours to complete.
Okay.
There's a lot of content in it, and they tried to do an anime of it in 12 20-minute episodes, so about 4 hours.
Yeah.
And that was just never going to work. Whereas the Danganronpa 3 anime, which I'm in the middle of watching right now, doesn't take any... Well, I mean, it has characters returning from the first 2 games, but it has a new story created for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, and things like Castlevania, are ultimately probably routes that are closer to what people should be going for. What are 3 video games or video game franchises that you would like to see adapted?
Off the top of my head, I don't know. I mean, I think if they're going to do another Final Fantasy thing, maybe do it as a TV show. Wouldn't mind seeing a Final Fantasy Netflix show, honestly. I know eventually another Mario Brothers movie is going to happen, so give it to people who care. Don't give it to people who obviously just want money out of it.
They're just cynical about it.
Yeah, don't give it to fucking Illumination, you morons.
Oh yeah,
Jesus
oh my god,
Christ.
they're doing that, aren't they?
Yeah, I'm so mad at them for that. Like, why the fuck are they giving it to Illumination? Honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing DreamWorks take it. Like, if DreamWorks took that, I think they would do really well with, like, judging on how well they've been doing with, like, How to Train Your Dragon and stuff like that recently.
I'd like
to
to...
just threw me on the spot, asshole.
Yeah. Maybe 3's a bit much. You can
I've
think
got
about
3. Can I jump in? I'll just throw these out there. Bioshock, which was kind of in production, then they stopped, I think.
Yeah.
Borderlands, which is actually in production as well, but it's being produced by the guy who did the 3 Spider-Man movies, the original ones.
Sam Raimi,
yeah. And then the other one I'd like to see is Persona. I think Persona would be a sick movie. Those are my 3. I think those 3 have like distinct worlds that would be interesting for a film to dive into. And I think the reason why Detective Pikachu did so well is that it made its own take on the Pokemon series in cinematic form rather than following a game step by step. I think a well-made movie would take that initial formula of the game and then make it their own. So yeah, those 3 would be pretty amazing.
I've always said that I think a Metroid series in the style of Samurai Jack
that would be
really cool.
It'll never happen.
I doubt it would ever happen. I think that if they do anything, it'd be a movie, and I don't think that would work super well.
No.
Well, it might. I don't know. But I would want it to be animated is what I would want.
Can we get a Pokemon channel movie?
Just some shithead kid watching TV.
With his Pikachu.
Yeah.
Professor Oak comes in, you have to watch all these tapes.
Yeah. I think this is just a recency bias, but I kind of think a Danganronpa anything would be good. Like, if they wanted to adapt it to, like, a Netflix show or something, I think if you make it dark and stylistic, it might work.
Yeah.
Couldn't be an anime, probably, because that's already been done.
I have Five Nights at Freddy's. I think that would work really well as a horror film. Like, I'm not a fan of the series itself, but I think that could do.
They would make a lot of
pretty
money.
Good.
I think a Five Nights movie, would make
It
a
is being
shitload of
made,
money.
yeah.
It would make a shitload of money, but I think it would also be utter trite.
We'll see.
Well, it's really hard. Like, what are you going to do with a Five Nights at Freddy's movie? Besides just have a bunch of jump scares and spooky shit and, like, really bad lore that doesn't make a lot of sense.
True.
It's probably, honestly, if they do make a Five Nights at Freddy's movie, it's probably going to be some shit that Screen Gems makes.
I might be wrong,
PG-13.
but I think Warner Brothers is actually making one.
That also wouldn't shock me if New Line was doing
Oh,
it.
I have my 3rd. I think a Kid Icarus thing would be fun.
Yes!
Yeah.
Actually,
Make it anime, actually. That'd be sick.
you know what you know what? I got my 3rd. I want a complete reboot of the Resident Evil franchise.
Yeah.
Make
But
it a
like-
horror franchise.
But, like, more game faithful, probably. Right?
More game faithful, and atmospheric wise, especially make it game faithful. Alright, well, I think that's it.
I think we're good.
I think we're good. Stefan, the ghost of Chris Penwell, do you guys have anything you want to add?
What?
I swear to God he's here.
When we get out of you, I'm dragging you to a fucking clinic.
Alright, that's it for us. Next week, we're covering something.
Something. It's also a charming story about harm coming to animals.
Yeah, actually, in fact it is. It's not for kids though, but there's a lot of neon shit in it, so it's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, well that's it for us. I'm Chris.
I'm Stefan.
I'm the ghost of Chris Penwell.
Are you just, like, adding all this dead air for, like, shits and giggles, or, like, what the fuck's going on here?
Thank you. Again, we'll see you guys next week. Brandon's gonna be back for sure, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brandon's gonna be back for sure. It'll be back to the original 3. And yeah, enjoy your week again, bitches.
That was a little hostile.
Like the Eli Roth movies? I think we're setting up what we're doing next week.
We're not doing any fucking Eli Roth movies ever. Fuck off.
You say that now.
No, I'm saying that forever.
A House of a Cock and Its Balls is actually not bad.
I prefer the parody, The House of the Cock and Its Balls.